Hey guys, this is Formulka with yet another World of Tanks review. This time it is more of a first look at LTP, Russian Tier 3 Premium Light Tank. The way to get this tank was to be registered in World of Tanks before the 2nd of August, before the restart it was around the midnight of the 2nd of August, and you got this little light tank and a garage slot, so you don't have to buy an extra and you don't lose any. So that's a very nice thing. Every time you get this kind of premium free tank for some reason, this time it is the 15th anniversary of wargaming, you get the free garage slot, so you don't lose anything. So let's take a look at this tiny little thing. And when I say tiny, you can't really appreciate it in this a little bit outside view. It is only I think while the anniversary is up, but you can get out of your garage if you have like maybe the better one. I think this is the better one. So you are outside and you can look around. You have a little jeep out there, and but there is like, yeah, you can compare it to the Jeep, and even compare it to the Jeep, you can see it's not all that much bigger than the Jeep. So let's take a look at well, let's say a bigger brother of this tank, because it looks like it. The A20, which is most of you know this tank, many of you will hate it, but it is a very small, light Russian tank. So, are you ready? Ah, yes. And now let's go for a slightly bigger shock. So, the T-34 is not really a big tank. It doesn't have a big silhouette. So. And it also looks like this LTP, so let's take a quick look. Ah, you could fit maybe two of these guys, two tiny little cute guys inside the T-34, just fine. I mean, the turret is not, yeah, it is a little bit bigger than the Commander's cupola, but well, it's still tiny. It's so cute. It looks like a toy. If you look at something bigger like a Su-85, it looks like a toy tank, just for playing around and messing around when you are not in your real tank. So I think for me it is the cutest tank to date in World of Tanks. I'm saying it right now. And it really looks like he will just grow up into A20, and then that one will grow up to be a full T-34 and so on. So let's take a quick look at the stats, and we can even compare them to the M3 Light, which is another Tier 3 Russian premium light tank, which I've got. I'm not sure for what occasion. I think it was like a Christmas gift last year. So let's take a look at the stats and compare them. They are the same tier and the same class. 238 points, that's like nothing really special, a little bit more than the M3 Light, so that's a good. 11 tons, so it's lighter. It has a weaker engine, much weaker engine than almost half of the power of the M3 Light. But it has a decent speed limit, nothing special for such a small tank. Nothing close to M3 Light, but it's not bad. But the traverse speed, this tank can turn on a dime. You will be running around and you won't bleed most of your rather mediocre speed limit, unlike in M3 Light, which will bleed a lot of it, especially on its narrow tracks. Next up is the hull armor, which is, well, almost everywhere. It's 30 millimeters. Which is somewhere better, somewhere worse than the M3 Light, but the armor is sloped everywhere. Every single part is sloped, especially the back. This is like insane sloping. But there is this part which has no sloping, and well, if you get flanked in this tiny little nimble thing, you deserve to be shot in the ass and killed. And but the 30 millimeters is not that great, but the sloping improves a lot of it, so it's more like 50 maybe all around, maybe not on the sides, and especially the sides of this tank are weaker because the sloping is not as big and it has only 20 millimeters. So if you are running around in this tank, shoot at the sides of the hull. It's a relatively big target even here over the track, so yeah, you can hit it just fine, but it's tier 3. There's nothing serious about this tier of tanks if you are not a seal clubber. So the armor is not bad, it's nicely sloped as I said. Now the turret traverse 36 degree per minute, that's, well, it's not bad, but it's nothing special. The traverse speed of the whole tank is much faster. So yeah, but it's not bad. There are much slower turrets around. And the view range and the signal range are comparable, but slightly better than on the M3 Lite. So let's take a look at the gun on this cute little thing. Okay, it is 45 caliber, which is high caliber than the gun on the M3 Lite. It has high rate of fire, higher penetration, higher average damage, the same accuracy, and aims slightly slower. But in this kind of games, with these fast tanks, you will feel every tenth of a second of the aiming time, because you are constantly on the move. And although overall the gun has better stats, this somewhat hampers it compared to the M3 Lite. And M3 Lite doesn't have like an awesome gun to begin with, so I sadly don't have any tier 3 tanks around in my garage right now, other than the premiums. So how does this tank work in the battle? Yeah, well, first of all, let's take a look at the crew skills. Well, maybe it's worthless, but I've put the A20 terrible tank crew in my LTP, but it has a loader, which none of these two have. So yeah, I don't really understand why some of these other guys can't take care of the loading, but I have to keep the LTP loader inside and put up these guys so it performs slightly better than if it's just stock. The skills are really random. This crew is like one of my oldest, so yeah, I've picked up whatever, and I think picking up whatever on this tank crew is the way to go. You can experiment, because this is like nothing serious, especially now that everyone has this tank and everyone is running in it. So I've been in games where it was like 8 of these guys on both sides. So yeah, right now it's really ridiculous. Everyone is trying this tank out, but that makes my second class mastery badge that much more special, because everyone is playing this tank and it's much harder to perform better than like 80% of them. So yeah, at least that's that. So let's take a quick look at one of my games. So this is a standard battle in LTP on the map Highway. So it's a classic team deathmatch, basically, with a time limit. And right off the bat, you can see the weakness of this tank. The panzers are just speeding up, running away. I'm even looking from the side because I can't believe how fast they are. But we can't even reach the mediocre speed. We are doing like 40, so that's nothing special. So you can't really flank all that much in this tank. But this enemy team will help us overcome all our problems, because, well, here comes the lemming train. If you are in a lemming train like that, if you find yourself in it, please don't stop on an open field. See, it's not a good idea. But still, this weapon has really poor penetration, so we will bounce 2, maybe 3 times from that Stuart before he hit him finally. Yeah. And another bounce, but this makes him, for some reason, to start reversing around. I don't think he will go forward anytime soon, so we can destroy this. Sorry. This Panzer, that was an accidental hit. And that Stuart is still there, showing his back to our Panzers and reversing around. He will disappear. Yeah. The problem is that B1 and B2, which you can see on the map, they just disappeared. Our heavy tanks went into the town down in the south in around K9 or K0, which they should. That's the place where the heavies should go and duke it out. But the enemy heavies have different plans. They improved the lemming train up into another level and are running with their dying friends. See, you can bounce off of yourself, but not from the side. From the side, if you hit, you will damage yourself. And yeah, I think we have run out of the low-hanging fruit. It's just M3D and M3 Stuart. But there is the B1 and B2, which to my best knowledge are the same tank. The B1 is the French original heavy tank, tier 4, and the B2 is like the stolen German version with different gun, and it's a tier 4 premium. So yeah, that's why there is it's a Panzer, even though it's just a stolen French tank. But the problem with these two tanks is they have we have 51 millimeters of penetration. They have around 60 armor on their hull, all around, and around 46 on their turret, on their tiny little turret, which is, if it's at least a little bit sloped, it's still more armor than we can penetrate. So there is they are like a bouncing castle for us. We can't do anything. So yeah, but they have pretty decent penetration, so they can penetrate us. I will even check out where. It was right through the frontal plate. It wasn't even, see, it wasn't even the driver's edge, so yeah, see, right next to it. But yeah, your frontal 30mm armor won't save you from tier 4 heavies. And that's the problems, or the problem of this tank, the lackluster penetration of its gun and the slow speed. On the paper it doesn't look so slow, but it has only 170 horsepower engine, and it's a light tank. It is like 12 tons, but still, that's really bad power to weight ratio, and the terrain resistance is huge. On the open road you can maybe get up to higher 40s, but in the terrain you will struggle to get up to 30. So yeah, let's watch us trying to penetrate those B1 and B2 tanks and fail miserably, and anyway get master badge, or no master badge, the badge first class. So it's an improvement even on the previous battle, which was tier 3, I think, yeah, which you didn't see, but I've talked about it in the review. The problem is it has the good armor all around. The backside is weak only because it's not sloped, but even non-sloped it has more armor than we have penetration. So there is no way we can track him from time to time, but that's about it. Yeah, I think we tracked him when it was like the critical hit. means we've tracked him from behind. There is not that much we can critically hit. But yeah, that's the tier 3 premium light Russian tank. A lot of fun, a decent moneymaker if you are in a tier 3 top game. If you are in tier 4 and there is even one tier 4 heavy, you won't have a good time in it. Well, you might have up until you will have to engage that tier 4 heavy. So yeah, I hope you got the tank, that you were registered soon enough, and if you like the content, if you like the video, please like the video. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and until next time, cover your flanks, and bye bye.